All right. Well, just welcome everybody to HODL Crypto News. I'm Alex. I'm going to be starting this channel. I've started a Twitter already. HODL Crypto Daily is the handle. The goal basically to start doing daily videos with news. I will really go into a lot of it down the road, but I think it's really important with the world changing the way it is. So much with artificial intelligence, with crypto, with the blockchain. I think that the economics of life are about to change for a lot of us, and I think that you know. Creating new things like this, YouTube channel, and creating community around things that you're passionate about is kind of the way forward for things. So, this is something really big on my mind. I'm constantly talking about it. So I thought, no better way than to make a channel. So each day I'll be, tweeting constantly, but also I'm going to be basically, creating a little bit of news that I think is kind of interesting, talking on it, sharing some videos, trying to keep it around 10 to 15 minutes as well. So, first and foremost, Bitcoin has rebounded a little bit. Basically, looking like, I don't know, let's go look and see what the actual price is right now. Mm-mm. It's always changing so quickly. Yeah, so right now it's at 88,000. Time that I started doing all of this, it looked like it had a little bit of rebounding and stuff. MicroStrategy, if you haven't heard of that, that is Michael Saylor's company that is eating up all of the Bitcoin. It seems like just about every Monday we've got news coming out. This Monday, the news wasn't any particular buy, but it looks like they bought 2,932 over the last 6 days, which is just insane. I kind of look at it like every coin he buys eliminates a whole coiner forever. The goal is for me to be a whole coiner, and for you to be a whole coiner, or at least get your hands on as much as possible. Every time this guy buys, it's literally never going to be sold, which we'll talk about a little bit more down the road, obviously. The Ethereum Foundation launching a post-quantum team for quantum-resistant upgrades. Not sure what that means, but it looks like it's just integrating the blockchain even more into our lives, which is definitely Ethereum's massive goal. Um, so I will be putting these links up as well. They're already on my X post, so you can go and read those as well. And that's kind of the goal here is, I'm not going to read the news to you. I might talk a little bit about it, but these are just, basically me sharing links and stuff from, a lot of news sources that are not mainstream as well. If you notice, a lot of these are going to be like blogs and stuff like that. I think that independent media is the way forward. It doesn't mean that it's not true. It just means you need to do your own research and think a little bit. Another big thing is the New York Stock Exchange. I've kind of gone down a rabbit hole with them. A lot of people don't really know, but the stock exchange has moved its presence to Dallas, Texas. It'll always be in New York, but you should really be watching what's going on in Dallas, Texas. And I found something interesting recently. The New York Stock Exchange actually now has a new ticker symbol that actually is in Texas. So they're trying to play ball. They're also talking about tokenizing. You're going to hear tokenizing everywhere. Highly suggest starting to learn more about what tokenizing is. Assets are going to be tokenized. Essentially, a simple way to put it is putting things on the blockchain. Remember when we had NFTs that came out and everybody was really into those? You could, basically digitalize artwork. The tokenization aspect is kind of like that, but it's real world assets. So you can tokenize a house, you can tokenize a business. You're going to be able to tokenize all sorts of stuff, and they're starting with stocks. And stocks are traded Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, I think. Not anymore. They're going to be like crypto 24/7. Everything is about to be 24/7. Gold and silver have been going crazy. I am not a metals guy, although I do think that there's a massive importance for metal in our market. Just watching it is quite fascinating. The typical crypto viewpoint on metals is when gold and silver go really crazy, which they're doing right now in a way that we haven't seen in decades. Um, Crypto always follows. So once they start plateauing, you will start noticing a lot going into the crypto market. Binance has a really good article about it, kind of talking about, you know, the gold market having nothing to do with crypto has almost everything to do with crypto as well, because crypto is finite, especially Bitcoin, 21 million supply. It's the most, what's the word for it? It's I mean, no one can mess with it. No one can grow it. No one can print more of it. With gold, they can mine more of it. They can always find more. So Bitcoin is the most finite. That's the word. The most finite asset that we have. It's just taking a hard time for people to wrap their minds around it because it's digital and people don't quite understand that. Gold and silver have always been something that humans have gone to even before the internet and before stock exchanges because it was finite, but it's not as finite as gold. Gold is, or is Bitcoin. I'm sorry. Bitcoin is 21 million only ever. Nobody can change that unless the entire market got together and decided. With gold, the sky's the limit. A new mine can open up. When asteroid technology comes along, which it definitely is going to come along, you're going to start seeing them go and find a gold mine and a gold asteroid and bring it in, and then that one asteroid has 5 times the supply on Earth. Think about what that will do to the market. Like, that will drastically change the gold market. That can't not happen with Bitcoin and many other crypto coins. Even though I am very big on Bitcoin, there are other crypto coins that also have finite supplies. Some are complete bullshit, which we're about to go into on the next one. But I do love to talk about meme coins every now and then, even though I am not a meme coin buyer, and I think you should do your own research. But I also think it's kind of fun to watch meme coins and what they're doing, because it's an indicator. Everything is an indicator. So right now, Penguin meme coin, which I had never heard of, apparently has surged 60% to 170 million, and then obviously, like they all do, and that's 170 million market cap. That then it obviously had a 50% pullback. So viral tweets drove that thing. It drove it up, drove it down. I'd say stay away from it, but obviously, be aware of it. Watch the madness from afar. Let's see what's next. So it looks like we've got some Bitcoin funds having some outflows because of fears of basically gold and silver. That's pretty common. You're going to see that. I guarantee you the inflows to those ETFs are going to be probably on the upside anyways. MicroStrategy's dip buy signals. Oh yeah, so apparently the corporate treasury has been buying back its own bonds because no one else will. There's also a lot going on in the bond market in Japan, which I'm not really going to go over in today's video, but people should be watching it. Apparently, I guess MicroStrategy's had a dip, but a lot of things have probably had a dip in relation to the bond market. The bond market is how they used to basically keep this entire Ponzi scheme afloat, and they're having a lot of hard, struggles right now. Japan used to basically lend their money out at 0%. People would go and get that, and then they would literally get loans in the yen, and then they would convert that into other assets. Getting it at 0%, throw it into another asset that has some kind of yield. It just maximizes your benefits, and that's no longer an option anymore. So a lot of these liquid players, day traders and stuff, that move the markets, as we move into, my opinion, as we move into crypto, which is more of an honest world, that is held accountable because of that fixed supply, you're going to see a lot of those people have a hard time manipulating the market. And so, just sit back and watch and buy Bitcoin. Let's see. This was really interesting. So apparently there's like a Mercury protocol that is, you're seeing a lot of institutions like Visa go into. They are basically announcing, and there's a link here that goes into, this is a pretty good article on it. But then there's also another link here that is, I think this is a blog. Well, it's a pretty, yeah. Anyways, they both basically go into what in the to summarize it basically. Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Discover, all of these, they're using a system that is rapidly being outdated. And by outdating, they know that they have got to adapt, whether it's through getting stable coins, which they're all probably going to do, but also just their existing exchanges that they are using to change money over. It has to get faster because crypto, when you want to send money on crypto, it is the fastest thing, faster than the Lightning Network, or I'm sorry, faster than the Swift network, which is what most of these people use. So basically, these announcements are they're finding new networks that are helping them integrate with crypto, integrate with the blockchain, and move their money faster. That's the only way they're going to stay alive. I personally don't know how they're going to stay alive, but for now, this is what they're showing us. Another thing I wanted to go into was, so this is pretty much all I have for links related news, things that are really good reading. Again, I definitely think you guys need to be doing your own research. I know we live in a world where we like watching these quick videos and kind of have the thinking done for us, but like, you really should, if something grabs your attention, take it and then go down that rabbit hole. I'm kind of giving you some links for that. And if I ever do share anything that's kind of, ridiculous or doesn't seem right, please let me know. I obviously, want you guys commenting and engaging. That would be perfect stuff to let me know, is if I'm just, spouting a bunch of bullshit. I want to introduce you guys to some of the people that I am like super motivated and inspired by. I watch 3 to 4 different channels a day. And starting really with this guy right here. I have no idea what his name is, but he has 2 channels. One is called, let's see, Money Rules. Yeah, Money Rules Investing Tips. He posts about every single day. He has really thought-provoking ideas. He really goes hard into, at least inspiring me as to what's coming, especially when you see those days where the market's just tanking, you see your portfolio going down thousands of dollars, and then you turn this guy on. He never really acknowledges it when the market goes down, which I kind of commend. And he just kind of tells you what's going on in the world, kind of like what I'm doing. He's definitely inspired me to do this. So I want you to check this out a little bit. He's talking about predictions being kind of like dumb, but having faith, and just really realizing that, like, at the end of the day, these institutions that you see constantly in the news that are reporting that they're buying, when you see that and you're like, oh, why is the price not going up or even going down? I don't really have an answer for that, and I don't think this guy does either. But it's still, he doesn't shy away from the fact that, these institutions are buying. They're not going to sell. So check it out.
Simply because that's what we've seen before. That's how markets tend to work. There's always ups and downs, but eventually you keep going a lot higher, and then you go, of course it was going to go higher. This year, however, is an entirely different story, as it appears that we know because we've heard it, but apparently we also don't know because it hasn't happened yet. The news has been that as the institutions are throwing more money into the market and accumulating more coins, they do not plan on selling said coins. Got it. The lack of selling would then cause the market to move higher as the circulating supply diminishes. Awesome, makes a lot of sense. The other part basically has to do with the fury that would be a good word that would be unleashed in the market because of this accumulation from governments, corporations, and institutions. Those 3 words alone should be enough conviction for a lot of people in the market, but alas, they are not, as a lot of people still don't understand the intensity of what is happening. So, as we have heard,
I just love him. And he brings up a really good point. People really, it's like we hear it, but, and yet, you know, if I knew the United States and these governments and these, billionaires and what just happened at the World Economic Forum and Davos and all of the talk about Bitcoin, why would I not be putting as much money as I can into this thing? And it really stems on a lack of understanding what it is. And then also, we're not seeing the price go to what it should be. I think Bitcoin should be $250,000 right now minimum and still growing. So a lot of people are even more bullish with that. how could you not be? So, I really like this guy. Another channel that he has is this channel right here, The Modern Investor. He is incredibly consistent. He literally, I think he posts almost every single day. His videos are pretty short, 15 to 20 minutes. Sometimes they go up to 30 minutes, but they're just really great. He is an amazing communicator, so I love him to death. The next thing I wanted to share, this kind of goes into the WEF that I was just talking about. You know, I'm going to go into this probably more and maybe even do some just specific videos on it that aren't news. But this to me is news for today simply because Davos just happened. Elon Musk basically says at Davos that robots are going to saturate the market, the world, maybe even outnumber us. We really need to wrap our heads around what that actually means. And it kind of goes into, my inspiration for making this channel and stuff is, our purpose as human beings used to be having a job. And I think that that is going to go away. I think that our new job is going to be our passions, connecting with people online and doing things that really intrigue us. Unfortunately, most people don't have hobbies or passions. So I hope they, do get that. But I just want you guys to check out this little moment where he's talking about AI and robots and the explosion in the economy. I think he's definitely onto something. It makes sense. It makes sense why the U.S. isn't freaking out about its debt and deficit, because I think if we have an explosion like he's talking about in economics and in production, that the debt that the United States has will be a thing of the past, but also the world we live in now will also be a thing of the past. Not necessarily good or bad. I don't really know.
All precedent.
Elon, can that expansion be broad?
Yes.
Or is it narrow? And how can that be created? How can it broaden the global economy?
Yeah, I mean, the way to think of it is that if you have a large number of humanoid robots, the economic output is the average productivity per robot times the number of robots.
Right.
And actually, my prediction is in the benign scenario of the future that the robots will actually make so many robots and AI that they will actually saturate all human needs. Meaning you won't be able to even
saturate
think
all
of something
human needs. I'm sorry, I
to
misquoted
ask
him.
the robot for.
That's
at
a
certain
crazy
point.
statement.
Like there will be such an abundance of goods and services because my prediction is that there'll be more robots than people. So,
But how do you then have human purpose in that scenario?
yeah, I mean, nothing's perfect, but it is a necessary. Like you can't have both. You can't have work that has to be done and amazing abundance for all. Because if it's work that has to be done, then you and only some people can do it, then you can't have abundance.
Then
for
it's
all.
narrow.
Yes, narrow.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but if you have billions of humanoid robots, and I think there will be, I think everyone on Earth is going to have one. And
This is a really cool video. I am going to link it as well. So this is one that I will actually link in the video. It's about 30 something minutes, but I highly suggest you watch the entire thing. He actually, I don't know if he talks about it in this video, but he actually talks about, universal basic income is something we've all kind of been talking about, some jokingly and some, very seriously. He talks about universal high income, which is interesting that he uses those terms, and it does definitely fall in line with, with the way that he talks about the world being more robots than humans, saturating human needs. Just think about that for a minute. Think about robots saturating your needs. And what will you do with your time? How will you live? Because you cannot run from this. Really, this is the world that's coming. I think that it's better to adapt and to find purpose and to have meaning, because that's going to be the new thing that a lot of people are lacking in the new world. That's kind of how this daily videos turned into. One more video or channel. I'm not really going to play the video, but I am going to show you this channel just because it is one that I really like, and it is Simply Bitcoin. Simply Bitcoin is pretty popular. follower. You probably already follow them, but I get a lot of my inspiration from them, and I probably will be playing clicks on it in the future. But yeah, that's pretty much all for today. I really appreciate y'all watching my first video. I'm really excited to be doing this. Please like it, please comment, subscribe, share it, whatever you want to do. Most importantly, I just hope you took something from this, and I hope you buy Bitcoin. I hope you self-custody it, which I will do some videos on what that actually means. But for now, just buy Bitcoin and make sure that you own some, because it's going to be more important every day we move into the future. Thank you, guys.